Good evening and welcome to Build Your Best Life. I'm Deborah D. Smith and I am super excited today. As you know, on my platform, there are generational curses among our youth and young adults, and I am here to give them basic principles to ensure that they can overcome those obstacles to build their best lives. I believe it is better to build early rather than to fix later. Good evening, Agnes, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. Thank you for tuning in. This is my second annual education symposium, and I am so excited. I can't wait to kick this event off. But first things first, we're going to have prayer by Dan Smith Jr.
Good evening, good evening. What a blessed day. And this is a great day for Deborah doing her education symposium. And we're going to start out with some prayer. Let us bow our heads. Father God, we just come this day just to say thank you. We thank you for allowing us to see this new day, Heavenly Father. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. And now we ask this to bless this symposium. Let it be pleasing to your eyesight. Let someone get something out of this today, Heavenly Father. I ask you to bless the presenters and just let it edify and just show us what would you have us to do. We so graciously say thank you and cover us. And just cover them all, the ones who's presenting this week. We ask you to bless it. We're going to give you the praise. We're going to give you the honor. And we're going to say thank you. These are all blessings. We ask your son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am back. As I stated, this is an exciting time for me. Not only do we get to hear unique, creative, out-of-the-box, fun, educational tools, we get to do so much more. First, we get to share this information with the aim that more minds could be assisted in building their best lives. 2, we get to bless young men with free haircuts. And 3, we get to donate books to 2 local schools. Is that not exciting? You know, education is a transmission of accumulated knowledge of society and enlightening experience, if you will. This week, we have the accumulated knowledge of 5 dynamic educators from around the world. Knowledge comes this week from Nassau, Georgia, Texas, and Freeport, or should I say the Bahamas and the United States. No matter where you reign, no matter your culture or your background, we are here to educate you, enlighten you, grow you, and make you laugh. So get your pads, your pens, your phones, your tablets. Get ready, get ready, get ready. And please share, and comment. We want some engagement during this time. And if this is your first time visiting my page, please like it. First, tonight, we're going to have a young lady that's been on here before, and I have begun to call her my daughter. First, we have tonight with us Anastasia, and she's going to get us started. A little bit about Anastasia. She was influenced by her mother's love for teaching and her experiences as a middle child. Miss Anastasia Smith decided to pursue a career in education. She is a mother of 2, a student at the University of the West Indies, a mentor of the Youth Empowerment Program, and a strong believer that in order to be heard, you must speak. And it is this belief that led her to joining Toastmasters International. She has many pursuits in the making, but she could count it as a major achievement is to be remembered as someone that has lived a life, first, pleasing to God, but secondly, that has left a positive impact on the next generation. So I welcome today Miss Anastasia Smith. Hello, Anastasia.
Hi, Miss Deborah. How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great.
That's wonderful.
All right, my dear, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. How are you doing out there? I know those of you in the Bahamas, today we've got a holiday going on. And so I know that you're enjoying yourselves out there, but I'm glad that you took a minute from your day to sit with us and to be with us so that we can prepare ourselves for the new school year that's coming. Now, my topic this evening is bridging the gap. Now, when you say bridging the gap, there's a few different angles that you can take that from. But the gap that I'm thinking of is the one that happens between preschool and first grade, that happens between elementary and high school, that happens between high school and college. You don't see it as a gap? I do, because it's a transition. It's a transitional period. It's a time where there's a lot left to be filled in and a lot open and left to imagination. There's a lot of uncertainty in that time period. In the US system, it's typically divided into three levels: elementary, which is K through 5, middle, which is grade 6 to 8, and high, which is grades 9 to 12. Now, some districts they vary and they'll add in sixth grade into elementary, or they'll offer 7 and 8 for high school, for example. But no matter what the variation is, those are the three sections that are usually given: elementary, middle, and high school. Now, here in the Bahamas, ours is just a little bit different. We have K, usually 2 to K4 or 5, which is our preschools. And then we have grade 1 through grade 6, which is primary. And then grade 7 to 9 is junior high school. And then 10 through 12 is senior high school. And then after that is, extended learning and, the college experience. And so when our kids are going from one level to another, in some schools, they do not have to change their campus, but it's still a shifting of the mindset. When a child is moving from kindergarten into first grade, I know that with our school particularly, and many, many schools that I've seen and been through, preschool is considered, those baby years, and there's not too much work and just a few books and a couple little lessons. And oh, if you don't get it, it's okay. It's fine. When you get into first grade, I know that for us, for the ABECA system, they go from having 7 big books and a few readers to having like 12 big books and then readers that are like this thick but have like a bunch of stories in them, like 15, 20 stories, short stories in them. And so it's a big jump from having a textbook that's going to have everything outlined for you to having to write off of a chalkboard and having to maintain a black and white book so consistently and a different book for each subject and all of those type of things, even though you still have the same teacher. When you're moving from primary school into high school, you no longer have the same teacher for every subject. There's no longer this one person that you have to learn their teaching style. And once you've gotten that down pack and you know what it is they expect from you, you then know how to go forward and how to handle them. You already know if you're the teacher's favorite. You already know if they don't exactly like your jokes and antics all the time. You've already felt them out. And so you know what to do and what they expect. But when you've moved over into high school, it's not the same situation because you're moving around from class to class, different personality in each room, different expectation in each room, different level of work expected from each teacher. And so that in itself is a hard adjustment coming from one year of being able to do this and moving into another year of having something entirely different happen. Now, you would think that since 7 through 12 is all high school, then, they should be pretty much the exact same thing, but it's not. Then you're moving from ninth grade into 10th grade. That's also a transition. It's also a gap that's being filled because you're moving from being the lower end of the gene pool, of the little swimming pool. You're moving into being the upper end. All the conversations have changed. It's changed from you trying to adjust to the high school experience and you have a lot of time and you don't have to figure yourself out yet. And it turns into, okay, you're almost done. Before you know it, 12th grade is going to be here. And what you haven't done by then, you won't be able to do anymore. And everything, all of the steps that you're taking from 10th straight through 12th is preparation for you to be out of school, done with all of it, and high school is over. And so the conversation has changed, and therefore the mindset has to change along with it. And so I know that it is not the most common conversation. And I know that, a lot of us, we don't think about it after we've already hit the adult stage and we're like, oh, yeah, okay, school was school. But there are the different transitions when it comes to school. There are those little gaps that need to be filled. And we, as their parents, we, as their educators, we're the ones that have to fill those gaps for them. We have to be the ones that know what to expect, that are telling them and trying to prepare them as best as possible and let them know, listen, it is going to be hard. It is not going to be the little walk in the park. You cannot expect what it is that you had last year. You cannot expect the environments and situations that you had last year or the years previously. It is going to be a new thing, but you're going to get through it and it's going to be okay. So, I've got some tips for you. Got some stuff to help you out and try to get these little babies and your big honeys and your sweetie pies. We're going to get them through this transitional period. We're going to help to bridge the gap. We are going to be the bridge that's going to fill in this gap for them and prepare them for the next level of their lives, whether it is moving from preschool to elementary, elementary to junior, junior to senior. We have those gaps that need to be filled, and we are the bridge. As their parents, as their educators, we are the ones to fill those gaps for them. So, my tips for you this evening. I hope you've got your stuff ready. Miss Deborah told y'all to take out your pens, get your pencils, get your paper, get your tablet, your phone, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you're going to use to record this information, let's get to it. Because even if it's not this year, it's going to happen eventually for your child. So, first thing is give a preview. If at all the upcoming school is going to give an open house, they're going to do a parent teacher meet, a student orientation, anything of that nature that gives the child a little foresight into what they're walking into and what's going to happen with them in the upcoming school year, take advantage of that opportunity. Do not look at it as, okay, they're coming to school early, or you're going to have to make arrangements for them for that day and it's going to be inconvenient, because usually it's not an entire day. It's just a part of the day where they're given an opportunity to hear the school's rules. They're given an opportunity to tour the campus and be able to find where things are, and who do you ask if you do not know where something is, who's able to help you, or what devices are able to help you, and things like that. It is very useful. Those things are held because we don't want for your child to come into the new school environment. They're already in a transitional period and coming into a new environment, and they don't know anything at all. Let them at least get familiar with their surroundings. Let them get familiar with the persons that are coming in along with them. If it is that they're able to have conversations with persons that are coming in with them and they're starting out on even keel and they're starting out on the same footing, in that one half a day period, they may make a new friend. So when the school year really does start and you've got all of the other grade levels in and everything is already at a rushed pace, there may be that one face that's familiar to them from their orientation or from their open house or whatever, and they're able to hold on to that person, they're able to cling on to that person. Or they may be just very good with directions and they need to have that extra day, those extra hours to feel themselves around and to be able to take this left and take that right without the clamor and the cluster of everyone else that's in the building and everyone else that's going about their day. It's very useful. Give them a preview. Even if it is that the school does not have an open house or a student orientation or anything like that, look at it online. Most schools, they have pictures up on a website. They have Google Maps. It is a thing. They have some media that is available for you to look at and for you to search on your own to say that this is what the surroundings will look like. This is what you should expect. These are a few faces that'll be there when you get there. And it helps. It really does help. So the next thing, establish a routine. Before the first day of school, you want to pretend that it's been the first day of school. Let me tell you how. You're going to want to get them into the routines of waking up earlier. I know if they're anything like my son absolutely hates mornings, absolutely hates them. My daughter, on the other hand, she's up before the crows. She's up before the roosters. She's up before every and anything else because she's excited. She's the one that's full of energy. My son is the lethargic one. He'll just take his own slow time as much as you will allow him, and he will be late every day and feel okay with it. But we can't have that. We can't allow that because the way that you start your day is going to determine the temperature and the moods and movements of the rest of your day. So if you started out on time or you start out ahead of time, it's going to give you a better footing to go through the rest of your day. And so if you wait until the very first day to try and get your child into waking up early in the morning, then you're starting them off at a disadvantage because summer blues will still be on them. They're still going to be interested in staying up until 12 o'clock at night playing video games. They're still going to want to be up until 1 o'clock in the morning on their cell phone. You've got to start the routine with them. Get them into, okay, let's make sure that we have all of our uniforms sorted out. Let's make sure that we have our bags packed already. Let's make sure that we already know what's going to happen for the week at least, as far as snacks and lunch and things like that. Start the routine. It doesn't hurt to start it at least a week early. So we've gone through the first one, give a preview. The second one is establish your routines. Third one is make a plan. You have to have your plan Bs in place. If this happens, what do we do next? You've got to have your A and you've got to have your B. And then if we go with B and something goes wrong there, what do we do? Got to have your A and got to have your B. When you wake up in the morning, you're expecting to hear the alarm clock go off. Okay, the alarm clock didn't go off this time, or I heard it and I completely ignored it. Okay, so when I did wake up, I woke up behind time, but the plan B was that my stuff was already put together. Everything was already packed up. They were already set to the side. And so I cannot take the slow motion and the slow pace that I wanted in order for me to get ready and be able to move in my own time. But I am not that set back by not listening to my alarm or not setting it at a proper time. It won't set me so far behind and set me so off because I already have a plan in play. I already have the rest of the details sorted out and put in place so that I can just continue on and pick up as best as I can and keep on going. If you miss the bus, okay, next plan. I've got to make sure that I call Auntie Stacy so that I can make sure that she comes for me when she's dropping TJ to school, and I got to make sure that I still get there. But you cannot wait until just the morning of to say that, okay, the bus has left me, what do I do? No, you've got to have it in your head that, okay, if this happens, okay, I've got a second step, I'm going to take this one. And if this happens, I have a third step, I'm going to take this one. Make a plan, especially if you are in one of those households where you have to set your kids up and leave them to get ready and do things like that. Or if mom has to go and dad is doing everything to set them up and take them to school, sometimes we know that doesn't go the way that we plan on it going. It doesn't go as well as we would like for it to be executed. But we have a second plan in play, a second step in play, a third step in place, so that in the event of anything happening, we've got it covered. We've already thought ahead. So the first one was give a preview. The second one was establish a routine. Third one was make a plan. The fourth one is be realistic. Please, 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 let's not tell our kiddies that Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be good. It is. It is. But you selling them that dream is not what's going to make it good. You selling them that dream is not what's going to make it flow smoothly for them. It is you preparing them properly and being honest with them and being realistic with them and letting them know that, you know what, it is going to be challenging. You are going to meet some bumps in the road. There will be some kids that may not like you. There may be some times that you're going to feel lost and you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to feel frustrated. But guess what? You're going to get through it. You have to be realistic with them. You have to be honest with them. And that is a part of preparing them for the next step that they're going to take. Now, I know that trying to apply this with the smaller ones is going to be difficult. I know. I absolutely know because they have their crying stage that they got to get through. And when they come back to the building, they're expecting the same teacher that they had previously. And so it's not just an adjustment of the work level, but also the teacher and the room and all of that other stuff. I do know that. But you would be surprised to know how far a conversation can go, even with a 3-year old, a 4-year old, a 5-year old. You may not be able to use those big words with them and have them fully understand you. But you can say to them, listen, Miss Hannah is not going to be your teacher anymore, okay? She's not going to be your teacher. And your new teacher, she's going to love you and she's going to try and teach you everything that you need to know. And it's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be hard. But guess what? You're a big girl, you're a big boy, and you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay, and you're going to do well. And mommy's going to pick you up after school, or daddy's going to pick you up and take you to McDonald's, or something is going to happen. Please let there be a treat involved. But having that conversation with them and being realistic and letting them know that it is going to be a challenge, it is going to be a lot of differences. You may not see the same friends that you had last time, but you're going to make new friends because you're a sweet child and everybody loves you. This is what we do. Okay, so I know that you cannot have the exact same conversation with a smaller child that you would with an older child, but the conversation is still important. And the base of that conversation is to be realistic with them and be honest. So I see that we've got our tips going down in the bottom there. Thank you so much, Miss Deborah. I appreciate it. We got to make sure that they got their pens and papers out and that they've got everything recorded. But our next one is be balanced. We have to keep in mind that, like I've said, this is a transition for them. This is something that is new to them, not only being a new grade level, but also a new environment most times, a new workload that is very different from their previous workload, and it's a lot to take in. So we have to be balanced. We cannot put all of it on them to say that, you're going to do all of the work tonight and don't worry about later on or whatever, or you're trying to bog them down with, okay, do some study time in here, put this in here, put that in here. The extracurriculars, they don't usually start right at the very beginning of the year. Thank God for that. But there are some of them that do. We've got to try to keep these kids balanced. Give them the opportunity to fall into their routines of the new year. Give them an opportunity to find some structure in what it is that they are trying to do and allow them to work through the first few days and find their balance and find their scheduling and find their footing. Let them get their footing on those first few days so that they will be able to then include whatever else needs to be done. You cannot throw all of the housework on them at the same time. You cannot throw all of the extracurriculars on them at the same time. You cannot throw the extra study time and the tutoring and all the rest of those other things on them at the same time because this is not a typical year. It's not a typical transition. It's not moving from 7th to 8th. It's not even moving from 8th to 9th. They're not in the same they're not in the same environment. They're not under the same rules. It's not the same scheduling or anything like that. So give them a minute. Allow them to find their balance. Allow them to center themselves first before you throw everything else at them. And then allow time for those who need more assistance. And guess what this requires? This one requires for you to be an active listener. When you pick up your kid on that first day of school and you ask that usual question, "Oh, how was your day?" Do not expect the usual answer. This is not the usual setup. This is not the usual beginning of the year. So be an active listener and make sure that you allow time for those who need a little extra time. All of them will not adjust in the same way. All of them will not face these situations and challenges in the same way. They won't. Each child is an individual, and we have to remember that. Just because their sister went into seventh grade and they were awesome with it and they had no problems doesn't mean that your son is going to do the same thing. Just because the younger child is that social butterfly and everybody loves them and everything's going to be great. And so when they went from preschool into elementary, it was all awesome. That doesn't mean that going from junior high to senior high for your older child is going to be just a walk in the park. That's not what it means. Allow each child to transition and handle things the way that they need to. If we allow for the time to be taken for the structure to be set properly at the beginning of the school year, then the rest of the year will flow smoothly. But if it is that we do not take these steps at the beginning and try to set things up in a way that they will be able to be successful throughout the rest of the year, we're going to find ourselves stumbling and tumbling through it. And then before we know it, it's going to be June and summer is on the heels of us. So if it is that your child is having a little bit of an extra struggle with it, it's taking a little more time than you would usually think it should, it's okay. It's okay. It's your child. Let your child be an individual. You know what it is that you feel and think you know, but none of you knew how your child would adapt to the new environment. None of you knew how it would be taken and how it would be handled. And so allow the process to unfold and treat your child as an individual and allow them to take the few extra days or a few extra weeks if that's what's needed for them to adjust. But the important part of you doing that is to be an active listener. When you're asking, "How was your day?" and "What happened today?" and "Who does this?" and "Is this one in school with you?" "Is this one in your class?" and things like that, make sure that you're asking those type of open-ended questions so that they'll be able to give you an answer and not just a yes or no, but something that they will have to elaborate on. Good? Great. Now, my last one. If you know me well, you know that I'm not a long talker and that I am going to keep it short and sweet and straight to the point. My last one is praise success. Praise it. Do you know what is a success? When you drop off your preschooler in the morning and they don't cry when you're leaving. That's success. Success is when you have your seventh grader who has a homework assignment and you didn't have to tell them to go ahead and do your homework. They went into their room or they went to the dinner table and they just started doing it on their own. That is success. When you have a college student who takes their schedule seriously and they're not asking you, "Oh, mom, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you wake me up? Can you this and that?" No, when they're getting up on their own, they're dressed and out the door in time to be at school on time. They're actively paying attention. When you see they're coming home and there's actual work being done from the very beginning of the year, that is success. Trust me, it is success. Because with college life, when it is that you are now free to determine your own schedule and you're free to do what it is that you want to do because you're not on somebody else's timeline so tightly. If you don't go to class, then you don't go to class. If you do go to class and you're not paying attention in class, then it's on you. With college life, especially, you're going to get out of it whatever it is that you give to it. And so when you have a child that is coming from school and they are doing their work, or they're getting up and they're going on time and just doing what needs to be done, that is success. And you should praise it. You should absolutely praise it. When it is that you have a high schooler who is not concerned with the latest fashion, the latest hairstyle, so on and so forth, and they just want to get in and get that work done. Praise that success. That is not only a success for the child, that is a success for you, because it means that you have not raised a sheep. You have not raised a child that is just so swayed and concerned with peer pressure and the things around them, but they are focused on what it is that they want to do and what they need to get done. And that is absolutely awesome. It's a great trait to have. So you've got to praise that success at all levels. That is preschool straight through high school, straight through college. Praise their successes. And that is the ending of my tips that I have to give you today. So, what we're going to do is recap it. Miss Deborah, I don't know how quick you are on it, but we've got give a preview. Remember to go to those open houses and orientations. Establish routines. Make a plan. Be realistic. Be balanced. Allow time for children who need that extra time, the extra assistance, and praise the success. So, Miss Deborah, thank you so much for having me on today. I am so proud of your educational symposium. I am so happy that I've been one who's been chosen to start everything off and get everything going. Mhm.
I'm so happy that you were able to be on the first one, and it was so creative. I love the outside. Uh, that was very unique. I promised that it would be unique and creative. I love it. But those are some great tips. I thank you so much. You have really brought that gap together. So that's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
see we've got an exciting week ahead of us. We've got another great group of young ladies that are coming to carry through for the rest of the week, don't we?
Yes, I'm gonna pop that up right quick. So Miss Anastasia has closed that gap. Remember, before we had that bridge and we didn't have a place to get from one place to the next, but she has bridged that gap. So we are excited about that. Thank you so much, Anastasia. Tomorrow, the 3rd, we are looking forward to having Miss Anita Jean Cummins from Thompson, Georgia. She's talking about pass the catch-up strategies to survive and thrive when school reopens. Then on Wednesday, we at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Sheila Walker from Dallas, Texas. What trip will you take turning over the obstacles in education? On Thursday, the 5th, we have Nikina Bryant from Mesquite, Texas. And she's talking about creative teaching approaches. And then Linda Wright Patrick from Freeport, Bahamas is going to end us up on Friday the 6th. And she's talking about the next chapter, love and happiness. So we got some dynamic speakers coming up. And they better get ready because Anastasia brought it. But I'm so excited about these complimentary haircuts and their compliment of Ruck the Barber. So, but you have to put your name, your child's name in the thread, and a way for me to contact you. You can do that on Messenger if you don't want to put your phone number in the thread. And we're going to select some winners to get those complimentary haircuts this week. And I'll also be giving away my book to 2 local high schools. So we are really just so excited about this educational symposium this year. So please, if you know some people with some young men, whatever, that y'all need to get on here. You need to share these so that they can be on, because they have to send in their names in order to get these complimentary haircuts. I don't want to have to go get my hair cut, so I need some names. Hi, Anita. I see you on here. I hope you're ready for tomorrow. We're ready for you to come. I don't know why I'm yelling. I told you I'm excited. So do you have anything else you want to say, Anastasia?
No, I don't. If there is anyone that's looking to find me or they're trying to get in contact with me, they can reach me on my page, Be Becoming. It is based in mentorship and connecting young people with persons that can mentor them, that are in the work field or will help them to get to the next step where they want to go. And so it's on Facebook and Instagram as Be Becoming. And that is also the email address, bebecoming1@gmail.com.
Great, thank you. So please reach out to Anastasia, and she's doing great work as well. And she's an educator, so hey, she's on the top of my list. So again, thank you so much, Anastasia, because you could have been doing something else today, because it looks like a beautiful day there. So we just thank you so much for opening us up today. It was great, fantastic information. And I hope you'll be on here with us tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right, so everybody, please share, get this information out. We'll be here tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Anita Jean Cummings. She passing the ketchup. I know y'all want to come check it out. So y'all have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. And just remember, as you go on your way to being a better you, you will run into distractions, pitfalls, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of these negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. So thank you and be blessed. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.